Which camera? That one? You up there? Hey, everybody. So today I was supposed to have start a stream at 7:30 and Pacific time, and it is now 7:45 Pacific time. And you can see my lighting is pretty whack job. Well, what happened was, this is the thing that happens to product managers, as you know, is that emergencies occur, and when an emergency occurs, sometimes you just have to deal with it. In this case, this was an emergency at home. Although interestingly enough, there was an emergency over the weekend at work as well. The good news about the emergency at work is I didn't have to do anything. I did have to know about it, but I didn't actually have to do anything about it. But the emergency at home, because it's my home, I had to fix it. So that's why I'm a little late for this, and why there's no slides and there's no background. You see, I've got the green screen ready because I always have the green screen up, or often have it up. But I didn't have time to set up all the stuff for the green screen, so. And I don't think that I can do it. I'm just using the Google YouTube Live camera, which is kind of the Hangouts camera, I think. Anyway, it doesn't seem to have a green screen capability anymore. It used to have one. Anyway, so that's the story here. So I did have some interesting ideas. I thought they were interesting for things I might cover today, and I'll tell you the list of 4 things that I thought of. And maybe I'll even try to cover one. One of them is I have a presentation I put together. I don't think I've really given it recently about writing tips for product managers. So I like to talk about how product managers can be better writers. We have to write all the time as product managers. So I have a nice little set of ideas and guides for getting better at doing your writing. And I thought that would be an interesting sort of talk to do. But the other thing that I thought would be very interesting is I'm on a lot of product management communities. I know a lot of product managers. I coach product managers. And so I get a lot of questions from product managers in all these various forums about stuff that's related to product management. So I've started to compile these questions. And on one of these YouTube lives, and maybe next week things will actually be normal, and so you can hear my next door neighbor and opening and closing his garage back there. I thought maybe next week's YouTube live, we can talk about, some of these questions. I can go through these questions, give you my answers, talk about what other people have answered. So if these questions were asked in a public forum, maybe I can share the answers that other people gave as well, and give my take and things like that. So that's something I'm going to work on over the next, I have to do a lot of these. I have to do 52 of these a year, right? We're roughly speaking. Obviously, this one is, I don't think this one counts. But, doing these YouTube live videos, it's fun for me because I have to think on my feet, and I get to bring you guys new ideas that are sort of just coming up with me. But the idea of doing these questions, and of course, if you have some questions, if you happen to watch this video, assuming I make this video public, which I'm not totally sure I will, might as well, right? I mean, what's the harm in making this video public? Just because this is the way things happen, right? Emergencies happen, and you have to make the best of them. Anyway, if you have questions that you'd like me to take a shot at, I love to get those questions and either wing an answer, improvise an answer. And I do have thought about these things enough that I often can improvise a pretty good answer, or tell you that that's something I don't know the answer to, or don't know how to answer. So for example, a lot of questions about metrics, those are going to be questions that I am not going to be good at answering. And I can tell you why that's true. And I can also give you some guidance about what I think about metrics. In fact, the last YouTube live from last week was actually, some of it was about that, about how metrics can be problematic, particularly if you are in enterprise software where you might not have thousands of customers, you maybe have hundreds, and they're quite different, each of those customers. And so you can't necessarily get statistical significance from some of the typical metrics that you might think about managing to as a product manager. In terms of what your product does, now you can get valuable metrics that are related to sales, like the well-known pirate metrics, right? The acquisition, activation, retention, revenue renewal. There's one more. Anyway, those metrics are good. They're really more about sales and whether the customer continues to be a customer. Now, that's obviously related to your product, and you can influence those things with features in your product. But they're not necessarily things where you can say, well, is this feature worth having, or something like that. And I talked about that a lot in the last video. And as I say, if you ask me a question about metrics, how should I measure this thing, or how should I tell whether my feature is good, I'm going to start going off on a rant about metrics. So that's just something to know. But I do like talking a lot about finding market problems, validating market problems. I love talking about marketing and sales and what product management has to do with making marketing and sales successful. And of course, the soft skills of product management, like persuasion and writing and team building and leadership and those sorts of things, topics I really like. And I like to talk about and come up with ideas and even have conversations about how you as an individual can get better at those things, and how we as a discipline need to get better at certain things in order to be taken, well, not exactly more seriously. I think people take product managers seriously, but to make sure that we step up to our potential within the world of business as product managers. I think product management sometimes, and in some companies, not all, there's a lot of opportunity to be for improvement of how product managers work and how much they can impact the business. And so I always like to talk about how those things can be improved. And a lot of that actually is related to soft skills, leadership, persuasion, how will we do it, presenting, how good we are at storytelling, and things like that, all to help us get better solutions out into the market to problems that people are willing to pay for. And of course, being willing to pay for it, it's really important if you want to make revenue as a product company. So anyway, that's what I'm anticipating doing. I have another little plan. Also, I have a mailing list on my, if you go to my website, secretpmhandbook.com, and sign up for my mailing list, I've got kind of a email sequence that I send out. And I think that email sequence, it's a little mini training about product management, and brings a lot of the concepts that I have on the website and also in the book. But I actually think that that would make a better series of videos. So I'm going to turn that into a series of videos and make some changes to my email onboarding sequence. If you have signed up for the mailing list and have any thoughts or comments for me on that, that would be very valuable. And so that's another thing that I'm going to be working on. I also, as I've mentioned before, I am working on a course on persuasion, focused toward product managers, but really valuable to anybody who wants to be more effective in business, maybe outside of business as well, although the focus is going to be on business. And it's going to have a bunch of components of persuasion, like storytelling, and how to ask questions, and how to pre-handle objections, and how to use conversational language, how to write more effectively, because sometimes we have to persuade via writing. So all of those things. And that course should be out in around Q2 of 2019. I'm still working on it. But the point is, you can get on the mailing list for that course, for the announcement of that course. Just getting on the mailing list doesn't mean you have to take the course. But if you want to find out about when the course comes out, that's secretpmhandbook.com/persuasion. I will put that in the notes of this video as well. And so I highly recommend you go to the website and see, there's many, many articles about how to be a better product manager, how to be more effective as a product manager, how to be more persuasive, how to help your sales team sell your product more, how to find good market problems to solve, and how to validate that you found good market problems to solve. There's some stuff about how to work with your developers. I think that's covered very heavily in a lot of other product management blogs and websites and things like that. I do talk about some of that because I do have some idiosyncratic ideas about that, in particular around Agile, which I recommend you take a look at how I write up Agile. And but anyway, go to the website. You can find out a bunch of stuff. If you really like what I write and you want to get it all in a nice compact place, there's the book, The Secret Product Manager Handbook, which you can get on Amazon, either as a Kindle or hardcover. And I think for today, that's going to be it for the video. And hope you found some interesting things. Let me know some questions that you might want to answer, or might want me to answer in upcoming live videos. And so I'm going to aim to do that next Monday, which is, I do not know the date. I think it might be the 3rd of February. Without looking at my calendar, I cannot tell you, but it's probably the 3rd, be my guess, because I know it must be the 5th. Maybe it's the 5th, because the Saturday is the 10th. And that's the only thing I know, is that the Saturday is the 10th. But and so I have to subtract off, and I can't do it. I can't do arithmetic in my head that well. But the point is that I will answer some questions. That'll be the focus of the next live video, answering some questions that product managers have about how to do product management. And I'll give you my perspective on those things. And sometimes that perspective is unusual, but I think it's always valuable to have some interesting perspective. Anyway, that's it for the video for today. Hit the like button if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Usually we're a little bit more organized. We actually have a backdrop. I have some slides. It goes on a little bit longer. It's not late. But today, those things all happen. So that's just the way it is. And sometimes that's how it is. Anyway, I will talk to you again next week. Have a good week. Bye-bye.